What if there was a pathogen that could transform you from an ordinary person into a gorgeous beauty? Would you risk getting infected? Welcome to the newly premiered series, The Beauty. The story opens at a fashion show in France, where a stunning model suddenly feels something wrong with her body. She starts sweating uncontrollably all over. Her eyes lock onto an audience member drinking water below the stage. Driven by some primal instinct, she rushes off the runway, snatches the water bottle from their hands, and gulps it down desperately. Moments later, she bolts from the building, commandeers a motorcycle from the street, and speeds away. But disaster strikes when the bike slams into a car that suddenly brakes. She's thrown into the air and crashes to the ground, her lower leg snapping on impact. Yet bizarrely, she shows no sign of pain whatsoever. She pulls herself up and, under the horrified stares of onlookers, limps into a nearby restaurant. Her gaze fixes on a toilet at the end of the hallway, and she staggers toward it with a limp. Even after dunking her head in the toilet bowl, she can still feel her body temperature climbing relentlessly. Water splashed on her face instantly evaporates into steam. Soon, police sirens pierce the air. She emerges from the restaurant only to be surrounded by officers, countless gun barrels aimed directly at her. Her pupils have turned an eerie red, blood seeping from the corners of her eyes. The next second, her entire body explodes on the spot. 2 days later, agents Cooper and Foster arrive in France to assist with the investigation. Lab results show she hadn't taken any drugs, though some tests are still pending. The most peculiar detail? 6 months earlier in London, 2 other models had experienced nearly identical incidents of human combustion. Witnesses recalled that before it happened, all these models kept screaming about being thirsty, desperately craving water. Cooper and Foster head to the medical examiner's office, where the coroner tells them the victim's body had been subjected to extreme internal heat temperatures high enough to liquefy organs and cause carbonization. She'd essentially been burned alive from the inside out. What's strange is that no accelerants were found in her system. The only discovery is an unknown virus never before documented in her remains. Days later, the lab analysis finally comes back. The data shows a fatality rate even higher than Ebola, but fortunately, it's not airborne. Preliminary findings suggest it spreads through bodily fluids, a brand-minus new virus based on our RNA technology from an unknown source. The CDC immediately issues a top-minus level alert. If not more, their superiors immediately order Cooper and Foster to fly to Venice, Italy, where another influencer model has just exhibited similar symptoms. Jerry, an overweight guy, spends his days obsessed with chatting up beautiful streamers online. The moment he stops sending money, they immediately move on to the next owner. He's long yearned to become more attractive and win over women. One day in a chat room, a stranger gives him a phone number, telling him he won't regret calling it. So Jerry takes a solo bus ride to a remote hospital in Indiana, where he undergoes plastic surgery. A few months later, with his facial reconstruction complete, Jerry works up the courage to approach a beautiful woman at a bar. To his surprise, she comes over and strikes up a conversation. They hit it off wonderfully, but when he returns from the restroom after having too much to drink, the woman has vanished. The bartender informs him that his girlfriend left without paying a dime. Realizing he's been played for a fool, Jerry storms back to the hospital in a rage, even bringing a gun to confront the plastic surgeon. As Jerry appears ready to shoot, the doctor frantically says he has one more method guaranteed to satisfy him: full refund if he's not happy. Jerry skeptically follows the doctor to a hotel room. The doctor mysteriously makes a phone call and tells Jerry to wait alone in the room. Soon, a sexy woman enters. I'll spare you the details of what happens next. The next morning, when Jerry wakes up, the woman is gone, but something feels distinctly wrong with his body. He has the front desk send up loads of water into thermometer. His temperature is far beyond the normal human range. Suddenly, searing pain erupts from within. His body slowly encases itself in a fleshy cocoon. Then he struggles desperately, breaking free in a grotesque transformation. He stumbles to the bathroom mirror and can't believe his eyes. He's transformed from a pudgy guy into a handsome, muscular hunk. Meanwhile, Cooper and Foster arrive in Venice. Despite confirmation that the virus isn't airborne, Italian police are all wearing full protective gear. The liaison explains that Italy typically takes the strictest precautions after all. This is where the Black Death originated. Cooper and Foster have no choice but to suit up in full protective equipment. When they enter the bedroom, they finally understand why the Italians are being so cautious. The upper body of the beautiful influencer on the bed has completely exploded, her skin blown apart in a horrifying scene. Foster quickly notices a strange symbol painted in blood on the wall. Police explain it's an Egyptian hieroglyph representing beauty. At the same time, Hitman Kyung receives a lucrative contract. The client has one requirement: make the target die in excruciating agony. The reason? The target stole his highest minus grade serum, a precious resource reserved for friends and himself. Clearly, this rejuvenating viral serum has been tiered into different grades, with the premium version reserved only for the elite. Anyone who violates this rule gets ruthlessly eliminated by assassins. Young simply brushes past his target and blows a gentle breath. The victim immediately collapses, foaming at the mouth, dying in agonizing pain. In a restaurant, two magazine editors discuss beauty maintenance tips when another female editor sits down. She looks utterly exhausted. At first, they assume she's hungover from last night, but soon she starts coughing, loses complete control, and screams for water. The scene descends into chaos. Her colleagues pull out their phones to record the spectacle, but the next second, she completely explodes, spraying blood all over the onlookers, including the male editor. Foster obtains a video the influencer uploaded before her death. In the footage, she seems to be trying to warn the outside world. Cooper concludes that if they can figure out who wanted her dead, they'll find the true source of the virus. But just as they're about to dig deeper into the leads, Cooper receives a call from his superiors ordering them to immediately drop the investigation and fly back to New York first thing in the morning. That same day, an assistant editor at a fashion magazine spontaneously combusted in a restaurant. Authorities can't afford to worry about cases in other countries right now, but Cooper and Foster find themselves at a bar, talking about their relationship. The pressure of being agents is already immense, and they're both the type to use intimate relationships as an emotional outlet to relieve the constant tension that's what brought them together in the first place. Foster seems to harbor longer-term hopes for their relationship, vaguely wishing they could get serious. But Cooper admits he sees it more as a way to unwind, something that helps him stay focused on the work. A flicker of disappointment crosses Foster's face. He quickly shifts his gaze to a handsome guy drinking alone at the bar, trying to mask his emotions with the prospect of a new encounter. Cooper seizes the opportunity, making an excuse about checking on a case lead, and leaves the bar. On his way back, he's suddenly attacked by two men in trench coats. Seeing Cooper put up fierce resistance, one attacker pulls out a knife, ready to finish him off. Cooper gets slammed against a wall, but debris from above crashes down on his assailant. Bizarrely, the man seems nearly indestructible, covered in wounds, yet still crawling back up, relentlessly pursuing Cooper. Eventually, Cooper finds himself backed into a dead minus and dally with nowhere to run. Thinking fast, he grabs a rope from the ground, whoops it around the attacker's head, and leaps down a flight of stairs, dragging the assailant from the high ground. Soon, the man stops moving. Meanwhile, Foster follows the handsome stranger from the bar back to his place, only to find it resembles a palace. Again, I'll spare you the details of what happens next. When Foster wakes up, he's drenched and sweating, desperately thirsty. He gets up and downs an entire bottle of water before barely recovering. He staggers toward the bathroom, but the moment he turns on the faucet, searing pain tears through his body. He collapses unconscious. After some unknown amount of time, Foster's body becomes encased in a fleshy cocoon. He struggles with all his might to break free, emerging covered in slime, having completed a transformation. At that moment, after killing the two attackers, Cooper is detained by local police. But soon a female official orders his release and delivers shocking news: his partner Foster has disappeared. Police searched his hotel. His belongings were intact. No signs of struggle in the room, and hotel surveillance captured nothing unusual, though the U.S. has already sent a plane to bring him home. Cooper insists on staying in Venice to find Foster. However, both attackers he killed tested positive for the virus, meaning Cooper had contact with an infection source. He's now essentially a walking biohazard and must be strictly quarantined with protective measures. CDC personnel forcibly escort him for comprehensive containment protocols. Fortunately, testing reveals Cooper is negative. He's not infected. The director immediately calls, ordering him back to New York. The virus situation there has gotten far worse and is spiraling out of control. A new team will be sent to Italy to search for Foster, but Cooper himself must board a plane immediately. Meanwhile, hitman Kyung is enjoying his weapons collection, preparing to deal with the man hanging before him. The man violated organizational rules by sleeping around, causing the virus to spread. Just as Kyung is about to act, his boss calls. The boss mentions that the woman who died in Italy had previously traveled to Indiana and infected a black man there. He wants Kyung to head over and thoroughly clean up the mess. Kyung protests that he's already overworked and suggests finding more help, but the boss says help is hard to come by. Two guys died just last night. After hanging up, the boss plans to relax in the pool, but his wife urges him to come eat his steak. Their conversation reveals the man is nearly 70 years old, yet his appearance remains that of a young, vigorous man, clearly an effect of the mysterious virus. At the same time, Kyung arrives at that remote plastic surgery hospital in Indiana. Using high-tech means, he cuts all the hospital's surveillance feeds. Inside, he finds the plastic surgeon performing an operation. Kyung explains his purpose: he must locate the black man who slept with Claire to eliminate the threat to the organization. Terry, now transformed into a handsome young man, has started dating a beautiful waitress. Just as he's reveling in his strong physique, Young bursts into his room and knocks him to the floor. He explains that Jerry's transformation came from Claire, the woman he slept with. Claire has already been dealt with. Now it's Jerry's turn. But Kong notices women's clothes scattered on the floor and orders Jerry to call his new girlfriend to get her address. Unknown to them, the girlfriend on the other end of the line is drenched in sweat, already showing symptoms of infection. They rush to the girlfriend's house only to find the place in shambles. Blood splattered everywhere. On the kitchen floor lies a shed cocoon shell. The girlfriend suddenly charges from a corner, flinging Jerry aside and grappling with Kyo. People infected with the virus don't just gain youth and vitality, their strength far exceeds normal humans. Yang nearly finds himself overpowered. At the critical moment, Jerry grabs a frying pan and knocks the girlfriend to the ground. But Kyung shows Jerry no mercy, ordering him to turn around so he can silence him for good. Jerry simply says he's accomplished nothing in life anyway. If he's going to die, so be it. This unexpectedly touches something in Kyung's heart. He ultimately doesn't pull the trigger and instead decides to take Jerry to a diner. Han explains the virus's origins in detail to Jerry. He himself is an early infectee. The virus uses RNA technology for breakthrough modifications, allowing it to completely reshape the body at the cellular level, accelerating evolution almost from scratch. A single dose can make someone young again. Facial slimming injections alone generate tens of millions in revenue for companies. This microorganism's value is immeasurable. That's why a lab technician stole trial versions for personal use and then recklessly spread it around. Young sees potential in Jerry's character and decides to take him on as an apprentice assassin. Back in New York, Cooper learns that 10 hours after the female editor exploded, her internal organs were still at 180 degrees Celsius because her blood sprayed on the surrounding colleagues during the explosion. Over 20 people have been infected with the virus. Their bodies and minds haven't shown any abnormalities yet, but no one knows how long that will last.